Live streaming is on.
Okay.
Welcome to this Dandelion governance meeting of the 2nd of June. Um, yeah, we have prepared some NFTs and discussing progress.
That's it. Great. Um, so we were discussing hardware, and now we're discussing the future, the present actually of these nodes. We were discussing some updates with radio. I remember last week. It's great if we can just clarify doubts and plan. Okay, plan for what's coming. So yeah, I'm here. Shoot, who has questions?
Like, what is the block frost transition, and why we're transitioning to block frost versus I don't know, I guess like being a competitor, because that's kind of like what I thought it was in the beginning, and now we're going to be implementing their APIs, I believe. So that's my question.
Okay, so it's a good question. So with Martin, since last year, we have been researching, even attempting to try and create our own API for this. Of course, we have the need from GameChanger wallet to just, consume one API, if possible, one only API to solve everything that wallet needs, instead of what we are having now, that it's not ideal. So that's one thing. But regarding everything together, GC plus, especially Dandelion. So the idea is that always the idea was to offer alternatives with Dandelion, right? Different APIs. The problem we see with all this research we did is that while new specs are appearing, this especially this spec, the Block Frost one, is getting more and more implementations from the community outside the Block Frost project. So it's getting like a sort of standard, a practical standard. There are two more projects beyond the official Block Frost one that are implementing this API. So when you are saying, okay, we are competitors, I don't think on the idea of on competition, because, for example, we were implementing Koyos or trying to have Koyos support, but we never tried to be competitors to Koyos. Totally the opposite. The idea was to help the guys to make people to adopt their APIs. So in this case, what's the deal? What's the thing? Because 3 projects, the official and 2 other alternative projects, are implementing the Block Frost API, and we need stability. We need to just pick a path and follow that path as much as possible, instead of being switching, north every 2 or 3 months, because it's chaotic. We don't have enough developer hands to handle that craziness, and ultimately will make your lives hell as node operators, because you will have to, every time you will have to be switching technologies, updating nodes, etc. So because there are more than one and more than this official API in place, we have Jassy, which is backed I think it's backed by the CF. It's a Java-based indexer, which has a totally different database from DBSync one. You don't need DBSync at all. This thing you just plug this thing to the node itself. It's a very good project. It has a lot of for me, it was like very tempting. The problem is that they don't have one-to-one compatibility with BlockFrost yet. There are some stuff missing. The official BlockFrost is having, for example, all the off-chain related queries are already there. Jassy is not focusing on the off-chain stuff, but we need it. If we pick for example, Jassy, with Martin, we are forced to implement our own off-chain solutions, like creating our, like patching somehow Jassy to add these off-chain queries. It's a lot of work. It's not a no, but it's a no for now because we don't have enough time. We need to just fix the issue that is blocking all of us. That is GraphQL. We cannot be even talking about GraphQL this much in 2025. It's crazy. So the other project is one from TixPipe, which is solving the things in a very similar manner, like Jassy, without the sync, direct connection with the node, or their own node. I think it's their own node. I don't remember, but I think it's one of the nodes they're working on. I don't know. So in other terms, we're not only offering BlockFrost. We were not only offering Koyos or only offering GraphQL. That was the idea. The idea is to create a repository where you can cherry pick what you want to offer, what you want to host, and just do it. So it's okay for us to prepare ground for all the APIs that we can. With Martin, we are already discussing the future of the project, how you will be able to actually cherry pick, because right now it's a bit manual, a bit of a manual process. But that's the idea right here, where we're going with this. And so yeah, I understand what are your concerns, but if, for example, the other thing that you can see by yourself by just checking the repository, we were trying to switch to Koyos. We really like Koyos. The API design is nice, very nice, very cool for developers. You have a lot of nice features there for you to use. It was a perfect match for GC, to be honest. But the problem is that how Koyos works nowadays, it depends on you switch how DB-Sync works, making DB-Sync use extra or different tables that they're normal by default or legacy operation mode. So what this means is that all our nodes that are on sync right now will be useless. We have to sync from scratch, and we will. That's the way Koyos works. Like, you need to just sync from Genesis with their own DB-Sync requirements, and then you have a fully working Koyos. What you have right now on all your nodes, it's a semi-working Koyos, because some tables are not working properly. So Koyos will not totally break. It will just serve you what works, and some other queries are going to fail. That's the situation with Koyos. So, but if you choose to serve Koyos, you are leaving behind all these other APIs that rely on the legacy operation mode of DB-Sync. So it's like we are facing this stupid situation where we have to choose in a practical way. If we choose Koyos, we are leaving behind everything else. And if you want to, you say compete, but if you want to decentralize or offer alternatives, which is what I like to see this project, so you're not actually doing it properly because you're just picking one API, right? I prefer to try to handle as much APIs as possible. Everything is possible in the future, and with more collaboration, we can even try to. Koios works very well in the way they are working right now, but maybe we can try something in the future to adapt Koios to work with this legacy mode. It's not going to be as performant, but not ideal. They will hate this, actually, that maybe this way we can offer all the APIs on the same setup. Will be a nice contribution to the Koios project. We can offer Jassy in the future. We are in talks to do that. We would like to. I will be trying with Roberto, most likely, Roberto Moran. I will be trying GC to connect to Jassy to check how it works, or if we can adapt something wallets to work with their own implementation of Blockfrost. So yeah, that's it's not like I don't know if this answered the question, but basically, to be practical, we are picking the official Blockfrost setup. They run your own version, like a Blockfrost that you can run, on your own, because it's very practical. It's fully featured, and it's becoming a practical standard. Does that not mean that we will be always running this flavor, this version? We can run Just in the future, the TXPipe version in the future. Yeah, that's, and maybe in the future we can, I don't know, I can put a more efforts on GC to work with Koios also, and maybe one of you guys can run a Koios node, and that's it. The idea is to open, for alternatives and solve the GraphQL issue like right now, because that's killing us. Okay, I don't know if it was long.
I got another question then. Since you mentioned legacy, so does legacy have an expiration within the community, or is that an at-will developer decision to move away from legacy APIs or platforms, services, and move over to the newer ones? Or is legacy something that will forever be a necessity in Cardano, therefore, provided by node operators of some sort, right? So I don't know if you have an answer to that, but that's the question that popped into my head when you were explaining everything.
Like when I said legacy, I was saying legacy DB-Sync operation mode, right? Whatever you do with DB-Sync is legacy. I mean, it was, of course, very important, very needed back then. It's still needed in practice right now because a lot of APIs and systems rely on DB-Sync. But if you research what's going on with the community right now, with the ecosystem, more projects are trying to bypass DB-Sync, to just replace it, because it's like an intermediate system that creates a lot of overhead, and it can get more performant in time, and I mean it has been growing and improving a lot, but still it's a middleman that you can just replace, just making your own node implementation plus an indexer in a monolithic way, for example, to optimize all the timings, to optimize all the storage, all the all the things, and to provide faster and better APIs. So that's legacy now, but if you check, I mean, right now the official Blockfrost is running based on DB-Sync, but there are these two other projects that are compliant with Blockfrost. So maybe in the future, and I think this will happen, Blockfrost will just replace DB-Sync and will start, for example, pointing to, I don't know, maybe the TXPipe solution, right? This is what I foresee coming. So yes, all this stuff is legacy because new solutions are coming, but we're not there yet. Maybe in some months. I think for next year this has to happen. Like next year, it's obvious DVSync will be less and less used. Yeah, my 2 cents.
No, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it, Adrian.
Okay, wait.
Yeah,
Are we okay with this move? Are we okay, guys? Do you understand that if we do this, we are also allowing for more options? If we just stuck with the APIs we were talking about before, it was blocking us, and now Blockfrost, if it's turning into like a standard, yeah,
I mean,
it's
Adriano, it used to be Blockfrost. I mean, it had a bad name because it was like really centralized and not open source. So yeah, but we are a small team, so we need to conserve our resources, and then we have to go with the biggest player. If their requirements or our requirements for them are now matching up, because we can run their services. I mean, there's not a lot we can do even if we don't like how they started. I mean, yeah, just have to recognize that they won from the competition. If we keep doing that, we keep losing resources. So the API, I don't think the API is that bad. I would have loved that GraphQL is just better because you're not dependent on multiple queries to get to your end result. But yeah, at the moment, we have no choice. We can always, invest more time in the future. Once the Rust node and the Go node are there, we have so much more flexibility in doing our own stuff. And I think most successful DApps running their own infrastructure completely, maybe even without DB-Sync, I don't know, because they can focus on just a couple of addresses they use for their DApp. And then don't have that option with GameChanger because we are generic for everything. So if you are running MinSwap, maybe you have to only watch 3 addresses. Yeah, you're not going to sync DB-Sync probably with your whole infrastructure because you're saving a lot of data you don't need to watch. I think that is what's happening. That some DApps just work because they are very focused on just a couple of addresses.
and guys, and totally right, Martin. And forget about GC, because here we need to talk about Dandelion also. The idea with Dandelion is to offer different API flavors, alternatives to decentralize different client-side applications. Once again, if we think on solutions that are a bit experimental, a bit new, and only solve some cases, if we prioritize those instead of general purpose, universal, massively adopted APIs, what are we doing with Dandelion? We're not actually helping decentralizing anything. Still, Blockfrost will run their own system to be, to have decentralized nodes. Koios is doing their own solution in the same matter, but ultimately, to be honest, I like, especially the community run projects have a lot of need for support from the community. Don't have much funding maybe, but to be honest, they're just married to their own brands, right? And here we're not married. We're married with Cardano, with the ecosystem. We just want to decentralize it. We're not going to just pick one flavor, one API, and that's it. So for keeping us multi-purpose, a universal set of APIs that can serve for more than just one use case, it's okay to have different options, right? Yeah, Martin. So what you were saying, not only for DC, it's good to have universal or general purpose APIs.
Yeah, it's kind of strange that we're not there yet. So yeah, I think a large part of why people are struggling building on Cardano is because this is just not there yet. I mean, lots of people tried. We have the PIB is a project that started 3 years ago and didn't go anywhere. So yeah, there's nobody's probably using that. So there's a lot of attempts, and TX Pipe is doing a lot of great work now, and we will get there probably. But at the moment, you really don't have a general purpose. You have to roll your own APIs to build on Cardano. So
this is simple, guys. You can like it or not. If you don't like it, don't sit with with your arms crossed. Let's work together to, for example, use Yassi, right, or the TX Pipe solution. Help us. I mean, we need to solve. We need to keep this thing working as soon as possible. It's a lot of development effort regarding DC. I'm rewriting like third at least of the wallet. It's a lot. I'm getting nuts doing this. Come on, help us. Let's find people to help us. It's not that difficult to expand Dandelion. We are just preparing ground for adding like plugins, so you can easily turn on and off some APIs. Yeah, so we can just use and add other APIs. Don't. Freedom. The idea is to feel free. Also, you can just leave us, which I really don't like that at all. Please don't do it. Let's find a way. But be with us in this regard. I mean, try to place yourself on our shoes. What are we supposed to do? Cardano is. I mean, we're there is no north. There are no long-term solutions here. Every year there is something new. There are a lot of competition. This sucks, and this is being recorded, and I want to say this very clearly. The word fuck. Well, okay. All those teams that are doing the same solutions in parallel, right? Instead of just teaming and creating a very clear,
very important,
powerful node. Because of the greediness of this stupid ecosystem is the reason why we're on this situation. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm doing my best as a developer. I cannot change the reality of the things that are happening, but the amount of different alternative solutions that are desperately trying to win the space, and at the end they will close in 1 year or 2 years because they just grabbed all the money from the treasury and whatever it is, Catalyst or now directly. They are doing this, and then they are going to just shut down. So I'm sorry, we're stuck in this situation because this is how this ecosystem works regarding funding and everything, and it sucks. As Dandelion project, because now we are maintainers, we can raise this flag. Our commitment is with the ecosystem. We're trying to help decentralizing the ecosystem, not to get married with brands. So we need to keep that ideal, and right now it's what we can do.
Adriano, what is your progress on what's your main blockers to move to Block Frost?
Okay.
How much more do you have to do? Is there something you can share about that?
Totally. It's done. I mean, regarding Dandelion, it's done. I already.
Right. I mean the wallet.
Okay. Goodbye.
DC.
Goodbye. Here's where I throw smoke and I disappear like Batman. No, I am halfway. Halfway. Um, I I rewrote or created from scratch a new system to deal with backend connections. I prepared like a local cache system. I've added like reactivity, something that has to do a lot with applications, web applications, where you want the application to react based of certain changes. This has to be consistent and work properly across tabs and windows. So it's not a minor thing. It took a lot of time, two
Yeah,
weeks, 3 weeks. It's a nice system, and it's prepared to be decentralized. Like right now, I'm working on this new version of the wallet, which literally right now it's just consuming Blockfrost, for example, the Blockfrost API um, from Dandelion nodes. So it's already decentralized. It's working client side because the Blockfrost API it's for Node.js, it's for backends because they they started the project with this cloud service they offered. So the thing is that you have to pay the services and use a token API,
yeah.
API token like a you know a secret uh, how do you say secret key to connect whatever. In other terms, all this work to put the thing on client side and to make it work on client side with our decentralized system. I am there. I'm starting now. I have that base. I need, of course, polish it a bit more, but I'm starting over. I mean, start building or rebuilding on top of this base, which is already there. I am working on it every day. So yeah, it's going.
Super. Thank you for this update. Ratio, can you also tell me, did you receive the, like I have one question for you first. Did you receive the test ADA?
I did. Yes. You sent it yesterday, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Because I'm going to do some rewards distribution, including compensation also for you for, you know, acquiring that hardware. So
Appreciate it. I do have my question is like I hopped in, 20 minutes in or whatever it was, but Martin, you were talking about the dashboard as far as the green dots, lined up and to meet the requirements of milestone 2. How does this transition to like removing services or rebuilding the nodes from scratch impact the current Catalyst project going forward? Because bound to run into more issues again, I imagine. That's an assumption on my part as far as getting it installed and getting the containers up, and then also the certifications and the SSLs. So
that will not change.
And when do we start this transition?
I want to first, I need Q, or the server from China is coming. This will be added here. I need 6 of these green blocks. Then I will request milestone 2. I promised GraphQL, so I will try to do that with GraphQL to see. We could switch to Blockfrost now and completely remove GraphQL, but I first want to submit milestone 2. That will be the end of this week. If we get there, we need to provide Adriano with a backup server for GraphQL. That could be my China node, and the one from his brother. So we have then maybe we have 2 and a development server. Adriano should get another development server. But yeah, if we get to the end of the week, we have now a backup system. You would need a minimal effort because we will prepare a working solution. And then the only thing you will need to do is change your environment file and just get the backups from, for example, my Synology server will have those backups you need. So I think in the coming 3 weeks, you will be transitioning to Blockfrost maybe. And I mean, I can't. We have everything in place to do it, but there could be delays. But we intend to make it very fast. So no more syncing, no more blowing up your hard drive. Even with Blockfrost, you will have a lot less traffic on your hard drive because GraphQL is just very inefficient in that manner. So yeah, that's why we moved to Blockfrost, because we tried everything with GraphQL, and we just couldn't make it work. Or we don't have the team, or we know what is the problem, but we don't have the team to make it into a project that we have enough manpower to maintain. It's just too much work, so we have no choice. And but I think Blockfrost is not that. It's not a terrible solution, but it is what it is. But we can transition quickly, so we only need to sync probably one person. What Adriano said, maybe we can keep DB sync.
We actually will be keeping our not only the DB sync container. We will be keeping the database populated by DB sync, which is great. There is a minor change on the schema, but I think that's not a change. Actually, it's like a default. So we can double check that. But what I'm trying to say is it's most likely that we won't have to sync from Genesis by when we adding Blockfrost to our nodes. Can I share screen, David? Okay, Martin.
Yeah, of course.
So this is, we have this branch. Nice. It's quite ready. It's ready. We just need to test it on mainnet. I don't have a proper hardware to do that without affecting my 2 nodes in production. Maybe I will take my chances if times, if other nodes are not able to test this in time. For example, this 3rd node I have here is my development node. This is how it will look like. You will have a Blockfrost here API, and this is the new thing, the backups. So when you want to sync with somebody's, okay, perfect.
looks great, Adriano.
It's my development.
It's always the same, new stuff.
The thing is, I have this whatever. I have this this view loaded in cache. So
it could be the 100 tabs that you also have open in your browser.
No,
probably
the 200 tabs, because I have another window.
I don't want
So the usual backups, are going to be served under this path /backups, and it's protected with password. So you will be not sharing this. If you want, you can just protect it. And basically that this is working. This is maybe now it's not. But, there is something wrong here, but it was working. Maybe I need to restart the PC.
I think we understand the what it's about.
Okay. Just this link slash backups. You can literally copy this link from any of our nodes when we adopt this branch, this new version of Dandelion. You will be just copying this and pasting that on the dandoman.sh, that script on Dandelion nodes. You can put the password there, the username and password of this sharing, and that's it. You start syncing from anybody else backups, meaning that this will ease the deployments and the keep this in mind for when you have issues or for when you want to I don't know if you're syncing with a node that works. Keep this in mind that it will help troubleshooting issues because maybe something went wrong, syncing, and then you don't rely on your own sync process. You can just uh, as soon as you can, guys. If you're ready, whomever is ready to move forward, let's try out this branch. Especially you that you're not on production yet, not plugged, for example, on the wallet.
I would like to keep, until we have like milestone 2, I want to hold off on doing new stuff. Otherwise, we could end up, not displaying what we want to display.
But do you have an ETA for that when we can start?
I need 6, but if sudo would run pre-production, I could contact the guys. Or at the end of the week, if I receive the Chinese parts and my server, I can build my server fast. Yeah, it could be at the
I,
end of the week. I have 6. I have 6 servers that run.
I am running this node. I mean, right now it's failing right now. I don't know why. Also, weekend passed and I was not here checking it. But Martin, come on, I'm running this node 24/7 also the third node because I need it for developing on the wallet. So maybe you can count on this one at least for this period of time. It's only pre-prod, but if it serves the purpose, come
Oh,
on.
yeah, but pre-production and mainnet is like,
Okay, no worries. It's what I can offer. Okay.
So
yeah,
my
I
question,
agree, Q. I think we are this close, and I mean Q could have, yeah, Q could have more issues with his hardware because we tried a minimal setup and it didn't work probably. So yeah, if we ask sudo to also run pre-production, yeah, we could get past milestone 2, and then
so
Um, but what news do you have from Q? Like, do you there is something on the logs now that can help? Right here, understood.
I was about to cuss Q out in the chat for interrupting my raised hand. Um, so GraphQL, I understand, is probably the where issue on the drive. I guess is kind of like the main cause. Now, could that? I guess technically, could you run a couple of mechanical drives with an SSD as the cache drive for running the graph? Like a Dandelion node with GraphQL. Like, I don't know if there's a way to separate it or integrate it into like a third container. I'm not trying to make things difficult. I'm really trying to understand if like GraphQL is needed, and like our goal is to provide cutting edge APIs or those that are being developed, and then also some of the legacy stuff as well, so people can have those connections. Like, is there a path to actually running GraphQL without putting in the development time, like a hardware path versus
my opinion is this thing is not savable, not by me or a team of 3 people. it will take us a developer with serious skill and maybe a team to make that thing work. My opinion is we dump it as quickly as we can. If I would be not diplomatic about it, that thing is toast.
It's, I mean, come on. Once again, we should have a GraphQL API properly done, properly working,
Yes.
adapted for nowadays. Because okay, that was okay for some years ago, but it did not receive the development efforts it should in time. So that's the reason. Because GraphQL for Cardano is not a bad idea. It's just did not work in practice for these new eras of Cardano. But yeah, totally, we need to just stop talking about GraphQL. If somebody wants to run GraphQL, we have the recipe on Dandelion, and that person can run it. The same with Goyos, the same with everything. But the official, by default, out of the box Dandelion node should not have GraphQL anymore. It's yeah.
And Quasar, about your issue as far as setting up the node, has it been determined it's a hardware issue of some sort? And then, like, what? I guess my question is, did somebody that's helping you look through the motherboard manual to make sure that you're not stepping on any type of PCI sharing, or like, I don't know if you added any cards to your system. So that motherboard is really strange, and like all sorts of, like, you start in certain NVMEs and it starts stealing PCI lanes from your slots that you have on your board, which is new to me and it seems inefficient. I don't know if that could cause an issue or not.
Can we? I don't have the time to do it properly, but maybe, but just asking you permission for logging from with SSH and monitoring that node, as much as possible, can give us a hint of what's going on, because we really need to be there to know what's going on. If maybe really, guys, if there are connection issues, that explains most of the issues, because there are no clear logs of failure, or are they? There are logs, there are proofs that it's failing somewhere or not. Martin, you were helping you the other day. Did you spot now with this new minimal setup any hint of proof of failure?
Well, what I did is I made the coils node with that monitoring that G Live view. I enabled only that one in the Docker Compose, and I gave that one to Q to run. So,
but that was super old. Did you update the node version, because we are talking about a different chain now after the forks?
I think that one takes it doesn't that take that node version? I think it also takes the node version.
I don't remember. Don't remember the actual and the right node version. We should double check. But
Because they have 10 point, it is 10.1.4. That's the latest.
Let me see. Manifest. Damn.
Well, only 3 weeks, and you've progressed from 20% to 24.5. That is progress.
Well, no, he's actually much further. It's this is the percentage is where he is in the epoch, but actually we're the total number of epochs is somewhere around 550 now. So he came a long way, but still something didn't work out.
Yeah, I think it's 557 or something like that right now for the epic. Now, Quasar, do you have like, I don't know if you if you read if you I don't know if your VPNs if you're anyway, I don't know where your VPN is in your line of communications, but your ISP could be blocking port 80 as well. I've heard that's an issue, a common issue for ISPs to do that. Mine doesn't block anything apparently. So yay for us and yay for the hackers.
One thing, can you maybe try to log out and log back in? So maybe this terminal has been running on some kind of, just try to start that thing again. Maybe it was just running on memory and not really connecting anymore with the node or something. I don't know. Just to check.
The old version is okay, and I don't know. Maybe it just disconnects. What if it just disconnects on certain hours randomly? That explains why it's not syncing.
Because that node, that G Live View dashboard doesn't really show any errors or problems, which is kind of strange.
Seems not. It's connected to peers and everything. Yeah, but still, I mean, if there are no logs of issues, well, maybe if Q is not losing connection, but it's losing quality of connection, it will not have errors on the logs, but will not sync properly. Yeah. The only thing that made us think that was an issue with hardware was the issues with the socket, right? But if that was the only hint we have about an issue, other than the lack of sync. So I don't know. Maybe it's a connection issue. For me, I don't know. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Because you guys said that you tried out, you tested out the disk, and the disk was okay. RAM memory seems to be okay. I don't know if you tested out, but RAM is not freezing. This is not freezing or something kernel.
I'm not sure, Adriano.
There,
We have to test it.
there's
The
a
RAM?
Can you go a folder lower? I'm not sure we did it in this folder.
Okay. If Q is running multiple Dandelions.
No. Q, do ls.
Okay, that will explain everything.
Yeah, do the node only one.
hit tab. Yeah.
And then do Control R. And then do exec. Yeah, and then press enter. And then do G Live View. Nope. Crazy. Okay, well, it's really stuck. Can you escape and then get out? Let's check the logs.
Maybe a general log with grep, like docker compose -f pipe grep.
Let's first see what's going on in general.
What do you mean?
general.
What's general? Oh, motherfucker.
You put it on read only.
Well, tell me how.
Just right click what you're doing,
Oh,
turn off the read only,
okay, great.
and then paste. What are you doing?
I have no idea, man. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, paste
Or
it. Yeah, you can paste it. Enter. Oh, that's not saying much.
That node is not logging anything.
Oh, there.
What's listening?
Maybe that's Grafana or something.
I don't know. That's from Guild, I think. As far as I remember, the node is not opening ports. It's relying on socket. I'm not sure. Maybe you can try. But you have to be there. You have to be on the same. Oh, whatever.
I don't know. Let's think about a plan. I'm not sure. Yeah, what do we do now, Adriano? Because it seems we get stuck even with this. I changed the complete setup and made something which a lot of people use.
Martin,
And it doesn't really show errors. So
My like, could it be a port issue, like an incoming communication port issue? I mean, that's like the only other thing. That's the only other thing I can think of. If it's not a hardware issue, it's not a build issue, then it's got to be an incoming port issue.
that there's maybe the provider is saying, "Oh, there's a lot of communication here on this port. Let's close it."
So
go
check. I don't know. Use. I'll put it in chat. I just ran it on mine, and you'll have to know your IP address, Q, to. Fuck, why didn't that go to ports? Oh, my bad. Here. Yeah, sorry, Q. Let me get you the right. That's the right website. Just, I think that's, yeah. There you go. Is that your correct address, or is that your VPN address? Like, what's the address of your server that you have for your DDNS? For duck DNS or whatever.
Man, I don't know. I think it's 168.26 something.
No, that wouldn't be it. That's on your LAN. So just try that, and where it says custom ports, just do a drop down and it said go to server. Yeah, just click that, and then go to check. Click the check button below that ad. Now scroll up or down. Sorry, other way. So everything's, all your ports are, if that's your address, all your ports are closed for incoming communications.
All right.
So I don't know if that impacts it or not.
Yeah. I'll get the info to log in and check it.
Adriano, could that be it? Like maybe there's some kind of what you said about maybe the provider is looking at a certain traffic and then saying, oh, after a certain while, if it keeps going to that port, we will block it or something to maybe have some kind of it could be that they have like a protection for this when there's like an attack.
Martin, I would suggest for Q to just sync to the latest node version. Dandelion Light version with this with Bloodfrost and the backup system. To update to that version, to download my backup from this node 3, because I know it works. I'm just rebooting. I don't know, something happened. Okay, maybe it's my old hardware because it's an old PC. But for you to just sync to prepare properly with all the systems working, and to see from there, to see what's going on from there. If he's losing sync, if all the services working together as they should, but some are logging some issues. Let's see the logs, and also if there are issues with the internet connection, Q's not going to be able to download the backups.
To me it looks like something. It could be something like that because there was a lot of downtime between installing this and the others. And the first time he got a long way, and then we restarted it. He got halfway, and then he quit. Then the problem stopped very soon. Then we have some more intermediate time, and now we get a lot further. Maybe there's some kind of rate limiting thing on the server, on the provider side.
And just to discard, is this now working with Wi-Fi or Ethernet connection? Ethernet.
I think Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's maybe the reason. It's a problem with with Wi-Fi signal. Is Wi-Fi or Ethernet?
I don't think so. I have never problems with Wi-Fi.
No, come on! I have a lot of issues with Wi-Fi.
Why? I've never had issues with Wi-Fi.
It happens a lot when you have walls and doors. It sometimes some furniture arrangements affect the signals. This node has to run with Ethernet. Is the best thing to do. If you run with Wi-Fi, you are risking having connection issues and random connection issues.
Well, yeah, like you can Q if you have the money. If not, whatever. Martin, I don't know if you sent me whatever you were going to send me, but you can send Q $50 worth of whatever you were going to send me, and then Q, you can go on eBay and buy a 2-port NIC that's got an Intel chip, and I can send you a link for that. And then you can just hardwire your server to your router instead of using Wi-Fi like Adriano was talking about. And that way you don't even have to worry about buying a NIC. I'll pay for it. You just have to go through the motions of actually buying it.
We pay for it.
Don't pay, Q. We pay for that. Don't worry. But yeah, come on, guys. It can be the case. It can be the case. In my case, I'm running totally connected to the with Ethernet. And when I've tried to even connect my working notebooks with Wi-Fi, I'm having a lot of issues. Literally today, it happened today, and I was moving the notebook on this table I have to improve the connection because I was downloading something. It happens. Maybe it's crappy routers, whatever. You can name it, but yeah, something like that.
Okay, let's maybe ask Q if that's a possibility.
Q has just quit.
What do you want to ask me?
Yeah, you're running it on Wi-Fi now, right? Your server.
Sure. Yeah.
Adriano is maybe thinking that could be the issue.
Okay, so the only option I have is to move the server into a different room, which is okay. But even from there, I would be putting an Ethernet cable, or it might even be just a regular freaking phone cable. I'm not sure. From the wireless router into the computer.
Yeah,
There's only one router that's connected to a hard line, from the wall.
Yeah, with your infrastructure, I can help you figure out your infrastructure, but you're not going to want to use the Ethernet port that's on that motherboard, because that driver is going to make it very difficult for you to properly. That's that driver that Martin and I looked at, and like it's recommended not to install it or use it, not to install the driver, and not to use the onboard Ethernet port.
Whoa.